Space Channel 5 released in June of 2000 in North America for the Sega Dreamcast. The game has a cult following, and seeing as how today is May 5th, or 5/5, I thought I'd take a look at one of the earliest rhythm games to reach American shores. Although Parappa the Rapper had made a splash in the United States a few years earlier on the PlayStation, Space Channel 5 is definitely still considered one of the early rhythm games, launching well before games like Guitar Hero and Rock Band, or even in-home versions of Dance Dance Revolution, made the genre a staple for many consumers. Developed by United Game Artists and published by Sega, it was exclusive to the Dreamcast for its first few years before branching out and receiving special editions, sequels, and spin-offs. The game is played by pressing buttons in rhythm to the music. The only buttons you use in the game are up, down, left, and right on the D-pad, and the A and B buttons. The game never makes you use X, Y, or the L and R triggers. As you play through the game, you encounter new characters, good and bad, and battle your way through invading alien forces through the use of dance battles. You play as Ooh La La, a reporter for Space Channel 5, and the better your dance skills, the more viewers you get. This is represented both by an on-screen ratings counter and shown by the number of civilians you rescue and have them follow you throughout the game. If you don't achieve a minimum level of ratings by the end of the stage, you don't get to progress to the next level. The game gives instructions in small chunks, but what hurts the player most is that if you make one mistake in any one of those bite-sized sets of instructions, you flunk the whole segment. The level will continue, giving you a chance to raise your overall rating, but it can take a lot of perfect moves to move that rating meter upward. If you're like me and just want footage of the game, there is a cheat code that basically makes the entire game play itself. All you have to do is sit back and watch. Doing that was the only way I was ever going to get my ratings over 95%, where Ooh La La, your main character, begins to glow purple. It doesn't do anything, it just looks cool. The music in the game is good. It's obviously got rhythms designed to be compelling and engaging, and I feel that it gets more interesting the farther you get in the game. Although the music isn't bad, and it's practically the central focus of the game, it still feels a little lackluster sometimes. Sound effects are few and far between, but they match the sci-fi style of the game quite well when you do hear them. The voice acting is not bad at all, and in some parts it's actually quite good. The actress who played Ooh La La seems like a natural in the recording booth.
I've entered their base. It's freaky, and I'm tripping out.
Here they come.
Graphically, the game is a fun combination of real-time rendering, easily handled by the more than capable Dreamcast hardware, and a series of pre-rendered backgrounds with your characters layered over top of the backdrop. In this way, the game handles like an on-rails shooter. You control actions at certain points while the game takes you where you need to go. Where the game breaks down for me, however, is the controls. For a game about rhythm, it doesn't always feel as crisp as it should be. Or maybe it's the opposite, maybe it isn't forgiving enough? There are no on-screen prompts, you simply follow the instructions that are given as part of the music. But the game video, thanks to some of the pre-rendered cutscene backgrounds, can sometimes get out of sync with the songs. So you try to focus on just the music, and when you make a mistake, a spring or a boing sound effect plays. But when your boing sound plays right in time with the music, it makes you question what in the world you're doing wrong. At some point, I noticed I was doing best by simply watching the VMU. You can see that a picture on the VMU changes to show you when to make your move. This video is just captured with the game on autoplay, but it gives you an idea of how it's supposed to work. I found I was best at the game when using the VMU method, but there are certain on-screen events that you need to pay attention to, such as shooting aliens with the A button, or shooting a rescue beam at humans with the B button. There's no prompt in the music or on the VMU to tell you which buttons to press when they say shoot. You just have to pay attention to what's going on the screen. But enough about the controls. This game has a ridiculous premise just based on what I've told you, so let's see if we can up the absurdity by taking a look at the storyline as presented in the instruction manual. It's the 25th century, and planet Earth is in a state of crisis. An alien race, the Morolians, have launched an invasion against Earth, randomly shooting innocent victims with a mysterious ray gun. The effect of the ray is rather unusual, as it forces people to dance uncontrollably, and enslaves them to alien rhythms. Of course, their attack has caused a widespread panic. The first station to grab the scoop is a little-watched space broadcaster, Space Channel 5. Sensing a golden opportunity to boost ratings, the director, Fuse, has sent the only reporter left who hasn't been captured, a reporter named Ooh La La. The broadcast begins at the location of the first incident, Spaceport 9. Ooh La La must copy the Marolians' dance steps. Up, down, right, left, shoot, shoot, shoot. Ooh La La is the only hope we have to defeat the Marolians and free the human victims. The future of the Earth is in her hands. Yeah, that's what I thought. Just like the game itself, it drops you right into the middle of this alien invasion. It doesn't explain why following the dance moves on the aliens actually works. It doesn't explain why this reporter and a few others you'll meet in the game seem to be the only people capable of interacting with these aliens. Where's the military? Why is our reporter armed and blasting away at aliens instead of taking cover and just reporting on the action? Well, the game isn't going to answer those questions no matter how far you get. But there is still surprisingly more of a story than I expected. It will unfold through cutscenes between levels and as you play each level of the game. They reuse the same pre-rendered cutscenes and just replace the subtitles on them each time, which seems a bit lazy given the capacity I'm sure that's left over on the disc. Still, despite all of that, I was pleasantly surprised to learn that the story actually goes somewhere. What's more, it goes somewhere relatively interesting. It's not the most amazing story I've ever encountered, but I'd like to believe that most people won't see the twists and turns of the story coming. And I would say that as long as the gameplay is for you, it's worth getting to the end of the game. But I'm glad I've never claimed to be the best video game reviewer out there. Frankly, I'm not the kind of person who is dedicated enough to put up with the touchy controls and work at it for hours to get better and better. Maybe if I had the game as a kid and I had just bought it, I would have to sink countless hours into it trying to improve my skills. But I'm past the point of frustrating myself just so I can make a video. I don't claim to be the best game player that ever existed. I was perfectly satisfied turning on the autoplay cheat and letting Space Channel 5 do its thing. But the important takeaway on a show like Our Story So Far TV is that when I put the game on autopilot, I was still interested in watching the story unfold and seeing where it would go next. You're gonna have to be more dedicated than I am to rhythm games to actually uncover what happens in this game. But if you have the skill, dedication, and most importantly the patience to prove yourself, you'll become the ace reporter bringing home the ratings Space Channel 5 needs to cover our story so far. Thanks everybody out there for watching episode number 44 of Our Story So Far TV. I'm Garrett. You can always find me over on Twitter at NewAngel, that's Nuangel. Feel free to leave a comment, hit that like button, or even better, subscribe. I would really appreciate subscriptions. If you enjoy taking a look at the absurd storylines found in video games, then you'll enjoy OurStorySoFar.tv, where I have every episode archived in 1080p quality. As always, I'll have a new episode ready for you again in 2 weeks, and until next time, take care of yourself.